Today I'm going to be sharing how I have blended different fonts in my journal for the prompt of lettering for Junk Journal July Day 5. And over in the collaboration we have the lovely Jane from Jane the Crazy, who's sharing a really creative way that you can add lettering to your own junk journal. So the link to the playlist, as always, will be linked down below in the description box, so you can follow along each day with every new artist that we have in the collaboration. So I started this by looking through my altar book now. I am absolutely in love with my little altar book, and I will be very sad when I reach the end of working in that, but I wanted to just get a little bit of inspiration for the type of lettering that I wanted to include within my journal, and also to show you some examples of the different ways that I like to do it. So mixing different ways of doing my lettering, so whether it's like handwritten and then some alpha stickers, or handwritten and then some typewritten font just with my typewriter. I think it's a really nice way to add contrast to the lettering that I include. So I like to collect different quotes that I come across, and even ones that I look up on Pinterest, and include these within my journal pages. I kind of use them a bit like a finishing touch almost, like I will do an entire background and then it's like the whole moment's been leading up to, right, what quote can I put on this page, or what lettering can I include? I think I just really like the contrast between having the art journaling almost and then having the written journaling, but without it being like normal like diary writing. I much prefer to have quotes and just different lettering as a way of documenting different things. So I keep a list of different quotes that I like to use and have them within my journals. I also like to just collect things that have different lettering on them. So if you don't want to do your own hand lettering on a page, you could think about the different types of fonts and lettering that you come across in different packaging, and maybe you could use that in backgrounds and things like that. There's so many different ways that you could interpret the prompt of lettering without specifically just doing some lettering on your page. But I would encourage you to try it out, especially if you are someone who doesn't always like to use your own writing within your journals. It's a great way to practice and to just have a go, especially if it's not something you normally do, just to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. So that's why I like to do a bit of a mix, because I feel like there's less pressure when you have multiple fonts, because you're not concentrating so much on the entire thing being perfect. And especially when, so like for this page, I did hand lettering and then picked one of the words that I wanted to stand out, and I used some alpha stickers to have that contrast in the font. And I used ones that are capitals, they are like block text in a stark black, and they just really contrast with the organic nature, I guess, of my handwriting. So it's always a really fun way to play with the different fonts on your page. You don't just have to add a quote and have it all be in the same font. And if you don't want to add too much handwriting, you could like do the opposite. You could just handwrite one word and then have the text be in a different font around that. You could even like type something up on the computer if you wanted to print that out, or you could use stamps as well. That I've done that for making one of my words stand out. I think I even did typewritten words and then stamped one of the words, or hand lettered it or something. I do like a whole mix of different fonts. I think it's such a good way to add something more to your page, and gives that visual interest then when it comes to all the other details that you've got on your page.
Close your eyes, get some rest. I'm by your side. Lay your head on my chest. I know you've had a understand. I know it hurts, it wasn't fair. It's over now, so don't despair. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies way too gray, we're gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies way too gray, we're gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
So something that happened by complete accident on this page, you might even call it a mistake actually at first, is when I went to do my hand lettering with my brush pen, I realised that using that on top of the tissue paper background that I had added, it all started to like bleed and seep into the paper, and it just wasn't a very good background for the pen. And at first I kind of panicked and was like, okay, well, what do I do now? Because I have to cover it up or something. Like I couldn't continue to write the word, it would look all splotchy. And so I went to my trusty white acrylic paint and I thought, well, let's just see how we can cover it up. And actually being able to push back the tissue paper and some of the text around this flower really helped to create a muted background that I was then able to add my quote onto, and it really popped off the page, but you could still see the hints of what was underneath. So if you've got a super busy background, maybe it's book text or music sheet, and you're thinking, well, how do I do my journaling or my hand lettering on top of this, but without covering it? So without just sticking a plain piece of paper over the top. Adding a layer of white acrylic paint does absolute wonders sometimes for just pushing the harshness of the background to the actual background so that you can then have your quote be on the foreground and really pop. And you could also do this same effect with tracing paper if you just wanted to letter on top of tracing paper and then lay that over the top of your page. It has the same concept of dulling down the background, but you still see it, because I think that's like the joy of working in this type of format in a junk journal, is that you have all these different papers and all the textures and colours going on, but it's just all about finding ways to work with that and how you can work with the papers to be able to then add your lettering to them and to be able to have them pop on the page. So I wasn't intending to add the white acrylic paint, but I think by accident it actually turned out really well and really helps the floral image as well to stand out on the page. So after I'd added my quote, I did come in and just add a couple of like splotchy scribbly marks because I had that white base and I just wanted to add something to it so that it didn't seem quite so plain, and because this page was really quite simple, like just a cutout flower, my text and the white acrylic paint really helped the quote to sing and be the focal point of this page. But otherwise a very simple page for my entry for lettering for the Junk Journal July challenge.